well, let's take a day to you this day of your time. How are you all?
Yeah.
I will take that as okay. We thank you, each and every one of you individually, all of you together collectively, for the co-creation of this interaction. Once again, each and every time your civilization interacts with our civilization in this way, it creates a link, a bridge, and a third reality in which we can, one day, interact more and more closely, more and more immediately. So we thank you for the co-creation of this new paradigm, this new reality in which we can all together learn to play. This day of your time, this transmission will begin with a discussion of imagination. Now we have talked about imagination many times. We would like to take the concept a little bit further this day of your time. We have reminded you of the synchronicity in many of the words that exist in various languages on your planet. We understand the channel's language is English, and in this context, we point out again, as many of you are already familiar with, the synchronicity of the word imagination. Magi, nation. A nation of magicians is what you are. And you can use your imagination to create the kind of nation, the kind of world that you prefer. Imagination is an extremely powerful tool, and we will discuss in what ways this is so, and how you can apply your imagination in very powerful ways to allow and to create the kinds of changes that you would prefer to represent within your lives, individually, and again, within your lives, collectively, globally. And as you thus then move out into the cosmos, into the stars, and join with us eventually, you will find imagination is going to play a very key role in your ability to do that. So let us begin. We will remind you, first of all, that we have talked about the idea that imagination is the conduit between your higher mind and your physical mind. It is the pipeline through which your higher mind communicates with you, and through which, in receiving that communication, you can then, as physical beings, as physical personalities, apply the information, the imagination that comes from higher mind, the communication, into your physical lives, to alter them, to change them in ways that are more reflective of your passion, your excitement, your joy, your preference, or not. It is up to you to use this positively or negatively. It is up to you. But imagination is the key to allow an alignment to occur. And if you are willing to use your imagination without filtering the communication from your higher mind through belief systems that contain fear, then you will find that the outcome can always be a positive one, and you can always amplify and magnify that in any direction, in any area of your lives whatsoever, no matter what. Higher mind, again, I remind you, has the far-seeing point of view. It stands on the mountaintop. It can see all the pathways you could possibly take in life, and it guides you toward the path of least resistance, the path that is most truly you. As we have said many times, the vibration of excitement, the vibration of passion is what functions like the compass needle. It is your magnetic north to your true self. By following your passion, by following your excitement, by pointing the needle in that direction and that direction only, you will always be completely, purely, squarely on the path that is most truly you, your core, true, natural self. Your imagination is the conduit through which your higher mind can guide you in this very easily, if you allow it to be effortless, which you can. Physical mind, then, chooses in physical reality various ideas of how to apply these ideas coming from the higher mind in ways that are also pleasing to the physical being that you are, the physical personality that you are, and you learn to work in concert as a whole being, as a whole person with the higher mind. For if the physical mind thinks that it must take on the job of figuring everything out, how is this going to happen? How can I make this happen? How can I bring everything together to get this to happen? If the physical mind thinks that it must be the only one doing that job, it is going to be burdened, it is going to be weighed down, it is going to be tired. Because the physical mind is not designed to know how things will happen. The physical mind is only designed to know how things have happened. The idea is thus then to trust the higher mind to let you know that if the higher mind is sending you information that pushes you in the direction of your passion and you trust that, what the higher mind is telling you is that by following your passion, the how will be taken care of, because the higher mind can see how you're going to get there, and the translation of that how through the imagination is the physical sensation of excitement, joy, passion, and love. That's how the higher mind speaks to the physical mind through the conduit of imagination, with those feelings, those vibrations, those energies, those pictures. So the physical mind can learn to relax and not feel it has to carry all the weight of the world on its shoulders for figuring out exactly how everything's going to come into manifestation in its life. You can allow the higher mind to guide you in that, and you can relax and ride the wave of the energy that the higher mind sends through the imagination and allow things to unfold in a synchronous manner, in an effortless, joyful, creative, loving manner. And thus then find yourself flowing through life. And even if the path that it leads you down may seem to be going left, going right, going here, going there, going where you least expected it to go, that is cause for celebration. Because as we say in our world, anytime something unexpected comes up, you want to say congratulations. Now you know you're really following your joy and allowing your life to unfold synchronously in front of you without it being so planned out, so rigidized, so insisting that it must be one way or another. Because if you really are open to the idea of what your higher mind can do through your imagination, it will almost always bring you something that is even more exciting than the physical mind was capable of actually picturing. So when you insist that it must be a certain way, you're actually limiting the ways in which it could actually come to you that might even be more exciting than you are actually capable of imagining. But imagination can act as the guide, the initial visualization mechanism to at least give you a bearing, give you a heading. And you can use that picture as a symbol to represent the energy, to symbolize the energy of the reality that is representative of your highest joy, of who you wish to be. But if you rigidize that picture and insist that it must turn out that way, then you're actually fighting against the flow of your higher mind. If you relax that it could come to you in another way and that what you're picturing is just a representation of that reality, then the energy can flow and you may find yourself winding up in a situation that is even more wildly fantastic than you were at first capable of picturing. Now, here is something else that is very important to understand about what imagination is. First of all, of course, understand it is a state of being. And any state of being causes certain kinds of states to exist in the neurology of your brain. When you are in an imaginative, creative state, your brain, the neurology, the way the electrical pathways flow will be different than any other state. Here is something that is important to understand. When you are born in physical reality, The first moment that you crystallize, shall we say, your spirit into the physical matrix, it crystallizes a kind of pattern within you that represents the idea of your soul agreement, your relationship to your higher self at that moment. What happens to it from there on will depend upon a lot of things, including input from your parents, society, so on and so forth. But that core agreement, that core relationship will always exist. So when you go through life and you've lived several years and maybe you find yourself becoming in your older age a little bit confused, a little bit forgetful of where you're going, why you came here, so on and so forth, looking for your joy, looking for your passion, going into the state where you allow yourself to communicate with higher mind through your imagination will actually always bring you back to your 0 moment agreement of when you were born. It will actually restructure the neurological pathways of the brain back to that childlike moment where anything is possible. That's what's key to understand about the function of imagination in your physical reality. It's your reset button. So when you find yourself feeling lost, feeling confused, feeling at odds, go into your imagination. Open up the conduit of communion between your physical mind and higher mind and push the reset button. Go back to the 0 point. Let the neurological pathways realign. And then in that state, open up to the infinite possibilities and the choices you have made. And go forward from there afresh, anew, reinvigorated as a new persona. Because again, remember. When you make any change, you have made a total change. And that is what imagination allows you to do. Realign yourself in such a way in bringing yourself back to a kind of 0 point that you can then step out from there on any path you really so desire. That is representative of your highest passion. And know that when you do so, you really have cleaned the slate. And anything that may have seemed to be an issue that was an obstacle or a complication in your life formerly, at that moment of zeroing yourself out, is actually no longer there. Now, you can co-create it again. You can say, oh, it's still there. I still have to get over this. I still have to deal with this. You can do that. If that's your process, that's fine. I am not telling you how to live your life. If you want to include complications and misery in your life, please go ahead. I will not stop you, because if that's what gives you, quote unquote, joy, then by all means go ahead and involve yourself in that idea of struggle. If that's your process, love it. And then you'll get the most out of it. What I am simply saying is you do not have to do that. You actually have a choice. And in that moment that you zero yourself out with your imagination and allow your neurology to realign, recrystallize back to that first moment, that first agreement, when you were a child, a newborn child, and step forward in that state of being, then all bets are off, as you say. You really have lost your history. You really only live in the present in that moment. And what you do from that moment forward is up to you. And it can be your reality completely, wholly, totally. Now, we have talked about the idea of imagination in context to the concept of all that is. The universe, if you will, the multiverse, creation in totality. Whatever you wish to label it, it doesn't matter. And then we spoke about the idea of understanding this. You cannot imagine non-existence. Go ahead, I'll give you a minute, try it out. There, you see? Couldn't do it. Because the point is that even if you could, by definition, imagining non-existence would be non-experiential. Therefore, how would you know you had done it? You would have no experience of it. And in having no experience of it, in that context, it isn't relevant. It doesn't exist. Therefore, conversely, anything, everything that you can imagine is somewhere, somewhen, somehow a reality, a real reality. It may not necessarily be relevant to the reality you are creating on Earth, but it is nevertheless real in some parallel dimension, some other reality, whatever you wish to label it. Whatever you imagine is also happening simultaneously with the reality that you are actually physically experiencing. So if in your imagination you do imagine you have 3 arms, wings, 4 eyes, and are purple, there is a reality where such a being, such a version of your soul actually does exist. It may not ever cross paths with you on Earth. You may never know that until you go to higher planes where you can see more of your soul's creation, and then you will go, oh yeah, there I am. Doing that thing in that universe with that kind of a form for that kind of a reason, because that's a symbol and a reflection of that kind of path and that kind of an experience. So anything you imagine is, in fact, tapping into some other simultaneously coexistent real reality. Yes, really, really real. Just as real as you feel your physical reality is for you. Now, the idea, of course, is one of discernment. It is real, but is it relevant to your reality? The idea of following your joy, following your passion, it's not to say you cannot create that here, but it is highly improbable, not impossible, but highly improbable based on the agreement you made to participate in the co-created mass consensus reality of Earth at this point in space-time, as you have created it. Strange things can happen on your planet, and strange things have and always will. And some of them are the confluence of someone actually fully letting go of any assumptions and expectations about what this reality has to be, opening the door a little wider than normal, and perhaps suddenly, there you go, something pops in that may not normally be relevant to your reality, and suddenly a legend is born, a myth is born. Oh, did you know there was such a creature, such a thing, such a happening? Well, those things do happen. They may pop in, they may pop out, and never be seen again. That doesn't mean they weren't real at that moment. It may have simply been only, in a sense, I'll put it this way, a momentary defocusing, a momentary relaxing of your agreement, but it also may be part of your agreement in the sense of presenting those kinds of ideas and realities to yourself so that you can play off them, reflect off them, and see how it might apply to some aspect of your agreement here in this reality. Nothing happens by accident. It can all be played off of. It's all an orchestration. All we are simply saying is, it's also a matter of discernment as to what works for you. And if you use your imagination in this way and apply these things in a manner that will work for you based on your understanding of your true self and the agreement that you made to be your true self in this particular modality, in this particular reality, then you can stay aligned and harmonious with your higher self and understand what it is you can achieve in this reality. You have far fewer limitations in this reality than you think, even within the parameters of the limitations you have imposed upon yourself for what is possible in this reality, or at least what is probable. The idea is that anything that represents your true joy, anything that represents your true self, your true passion, is manifestable. Is manifestable. But it is also about you paying attention to what is actually representative of your passion and not representative of your anxiety that is simply being called your passion. It requires discernment on your part to know whether you're coming from fear or true joy, and not labeling things that are representative of your fear as excitement when they actually in fact are not, but also vice versa. Not labeling your joy as a fear when it actually is representative of your true path. Because many people on your planet will stay away from the thing that really excites them the most because they have put a label of fear on it or society has taught them to do so. This again is where your imagination can, in a sense, come to the rescue. Go back to your 0 point, press your reset button and go, wait a minute. Who am I at the core? Who do I imagine myself to really be? What kind of person am I passionate about being? What kind of life am I passionate about living? In your imagination, you can see all those things. And that's why I have said many, many times what's important. Whether it becomes literally manifest as you see it in your imagination or not, what's important for communication and harmonization between the physical mind and higher mind is that when you do get a picture in your imagination of who you prefer to be, what you prefer to be doing, where you prefer to be doing it, how you prefer to be doing it, when you see that, all you really have to do is mimic it, mirror it, act it out as best as you can on all levels of your life. All you have to do is be like that person in your mind's eye. Do things the way he or she would do it. And then when you start doing things the way he or she would do it, you will change your vibration to the vibration that is representative of that life. And when you shift your vibration to the representation of that life, you will start to synchronistically have that life. All the things that are representative of what that you would have will come in. So that's how to use your imagination as an actual tool, an actual application tool. The idea being that when you open up to your imagination, you reset yourself, take yourself back to 0. Then you create the picture that is you, that you prefer to be. Then you act like it. You behave like it. And then you have 1, 2, 3, the whole manifestation process right there. 1, 2, 3. Let yourself reset using your imagination. Let yourself create using your imagination. Let yourself act it out using your imagination. And your imagination, thus then used in the 1, 2, 3 way, will allow you to become the magician that you are, and you will become a nation of magi. Do you understand this? All right. Now, we will, as this transmission goes on, of course, investigate some of these concepts a little bit more deeply and a little bit more personally as you engage us in questions and discussions. And just the thing to keep in mind while this is going on is that no matter how physical this interaction seems, it's also all happening in your imagination. Because remember, physical reality isn't by itself real, except the experience of it is. Physical reality and everything you experience in your life is created, whether you know it or not, whether you're conscious of it or not, through what you imagine your reality to be. Your beliefs, obviously, your definitions obviously play a part. Your emotions play a part. Your thoughts play a part. But it is your beliefs, your emotions, and your thoughts that all wrap together into the triangle of your personality prism. And once it locks together in that triangle is the template of the imagination that activates your reality. That's the conduit through which you send those beliefs, definitions, emotions, and thoughts up to the realm of the higher self, where manifestation is immediate and instantaneous, and energy is all pervasive. Then the higher self, the higher mind, sends that thought, reflects it back through the imagination to the physical mind, and gives it to you in terms of the passion of your true self, so that by simply acting on it, by simply following your passion, the higher self lets you know, this is the wish you have sent me, translated into the language of the higher mind. Do it. Act it out. Act it out, and you will be speaking the language of the higher mind. You will be blended and harmonized as the physical mind and a higher mind into one holistic being, one holistic person that can then reflect that relationship into manifestations in an imagination reality that is being created by you. It is just a mirror. That's all it is. It's just reflecting back what you imagine it can be. That's all it is. So, as we said, with that in mind, we would invite you, in whatever way, shape, or form you imagine you would like to do it, to share with your questions or statements. And it'll say we will continue the transmission in the following way. Everyone relax. Take a deep breath in and let it out gently. Take another deep breath in and let it out gently. And one more breath in and hold it, and hold it, and hold it. And blow. Continue to breathe in a gentle and easy manner. And as you do, allow your lights to dim, allow your music to come up, and allow yourselves to focus on the holotope, on the center, and the array of lines of light that radiate outward from this central point. And allow yourself to recognize the spiral patterns within this image. Spirals like the number 9. Spiraling out from the center, expanding in the same manner as the Fibonacci spiral in nature. Radiating outward, encompassing the entirety of the cosmos. Stretching to infinity. The spiral of 9, the vibration of 9, the cycles of 9. As you continue to relax and breathe, allow yourselves to go deeper within your being, deep into your centers of contemplation, deep into your centers of meditation, deep into your center of relaxation, deep into your place of perfect peace, where everything comes together, and all the spirals of 9 that stretch from infinity back to you curl and spiral into the center with you, connecting to you, surrounding you, anchoring you, stabilizing you, while at the same time feeding you an unlimited amount of information and energy, balancing you, energizing you. Allow yourselves to feel not only your place of perfect peace and balance, but also the pulse of the energy, the power of the energy, of the vibration of standing on the threshold between your physical reality and the higher dimensional planes of all that is. You are standing on the borderline of the country of your physical realm, gazing out to the endless horizon of the vast array of dimensions of experience that all touch the border upon which you stand, that all lap upon the shores of your reality, bringing with them the waves of energy from distant seas and different lands, all coming to you, wave after wave, wave after wave, gently, beautifully, the beautiful rushing sound that lulls you with its white noise, into a beautiful, relaxing, vibrational state. The cycles of 9 begin to awaken within you. Patterns begin to form within you. Windows begin to open within you. Doors begin to swing wide within you. And all the cycles and the patterns and the vibrations overlap, reinforcing each other. Waves up and down upon which you float. Eddies and currents of cycles overlapping, blending, merging, separating out again, radiating out from the central source to the rest of creation, and radiating back in, overlapping in beautiful patterns, radiating circles in and out simultaneously. And as you contemplate and meditate and vibrate to the cycles of 9, you know that anytime you prefer, anytime you so desire, anytime you wish, you can stand upon that shore and gaze at that infinite horizon and know and feel and see that all the information you need is coming to you from all directions to your place of perfect peace, your place of balance, the center of your being. 9. 9. 9. The vibration resonates within you like a bell and allows you to feel the exuberance and intelligence contained within. The vibration of potentiality, of exploration, of completion, of the ending of one cycle and the beginning of another, that contains also within it the square root of the cycles of 3s, of the triangles and the tetrahedrons and the pyramids that are representative of the underlying template structure of physical reality, that rise 3 times 3 itself to the cycle of completion, to the vibration of 9, and carries you aloft to distant shores at the speed of light, which forms the skin of the bubble of your reality, and in which you see and experience the reflection of all things contained within your reality, accessible by you with the lightest touch of the gentlest finger upon your hand. You touch the inner skin of that reflectivity, the inner mirror of the higher mind that is the bubble, the threshold, the border of your dimension of experience. And it ripples out. And in the waves, the beautiful vibrating waves that ripple out from your gentle touch upon that inner bubble skin, is contained all the music and all the information, all the life, light, and love of the allowance and unconditional support of creation and all that is. And you float within this bubble, connected to all these spiral energy beings, radiating in and out simultaneously, mixing and blending and harmonizing within you, allowing you to float upon the current of this endless horizon sea of beauty. 9. And with every number and with every vibration, you go deeper within yourself and remain floating in this place of perfect balance and harmony and peace. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the cycles begin again, and the windows and doors open, and patterns overlay your reality to allow you to harmonize and align with the template of the windows and the cycles of 9 for contact, not only with beings in the cosmos, but for contact with all levels and vibrations of your own consciousness. And as you allow that template and that pattern to sink and reside and absorb within you, you feel the spiral energy of motion and action. And you feel yourself slowly spinning, floating in the void, inside the beautiful crystalline shell of the bubble of the threshold of your reality that is formed as a bubble of light. Beautiful, scintillating, vibrating light of many beautiful colors and reflections. One, and your frequency begins to rise. Two, and rises higher still. Three, and continues to expand. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, until you become not only the contents of the bubble, and every space within do you fill, but you are the skin of the bubble itself, you are the threshold itself, you are the border itself, you are the skin of your reality between inner and outer, and all things in physical reality are contained holographically within you, as are represented by the holotope before you, and you are gazing into the eye of the all that is. It is a mirror reflecting back to you, your own gaze. The cycles of completion are the beginnings of new cycles. And the beginnings of new cycles will always lead to the cycles of completion. And forever familiar shall be this land, this border, this country that is yours, that is within you. Your reality is beautiful, mysterious, and spiritual, and mystical, and contains all the information you need, all the information you require, presented to you in synchronous waves that lap upon the shore from your infinite horizon. You are a bubble floating in a sea of bubbles, infinitely expanding outward in spirals of 9, 9, 9. Allow yourself to breathe this in, gently, beautifully, clearly, and exhale the crystal clarity of the new environment of your reality, of your shifting vibrations into parallel world after parallel world, along the lines of 9, the spirals of 9, the cycles of 9, opening new doors and windows within your world, so that you may see that even within the bubble there is infinity, and you are at the center, always at the center of an infinite sea of awareness, of intelligence, of knowledge, of emotion, of action, of being, of life, light, and love that is always streaming to you and from you in your web, your net, your spirals of 9. Take a deep breath in and make it your own. Crystallize it with the crystal clarity of the snowflakes of the season. And you are crystallizing the vibration in your neurological net of all cycles, so that you may know that you are on the journey to become the master of cycles, the master of the threshold, the masters of the crossing, and that you will eventually and ultimately expand into the infinite sea that lies beyond your border. But while you stand upon that threshold, you shall know and shall feel that that land contains all that you require, all that you need. You are infinitely supported, abundantly supported, perfectly timed. You are this aspect of all that is. Take a deep breath in and make it your own. And let it out. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And take a deep breath in and hold it. And hold it. And hold it. And blow like the north wind. And crystallize that reality. Crystallize that vibration. Crystallize. 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 The cycles of 9 are now open to you. The patterns overlay your life and will act as the eddies and currents that guide you in spiral cycles of wonder and discovery, expansion and ecstasy, beauty and love. Allow your music to soften. Allow your lights to dim. And allow yourselves to remain at rest, focused on the mirror of the infinite eye of all that is, that you are gazing back at you. For this is your life and light and love, eternally. Continue to breathe gently and easily, and feel within your heart, within your mind, within your body, and within your soul the unconditional love and deep appreciation that we send to you always. You never need to step outside that stream, for you have all you need here and now. Our unconditional love to you, the sweetest of dreams, is what you are. Allow yourselves to come into the new reality slowly, waking up lucidly in the new dream, for you are a new dream at this moment, on this day. The cycle of transformation will continue.
But it'll say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right, thank you. First and foremost, once again, we thank each and every one of you, individually and all of you together, collectively, for the co-creation of this interaction and the allowance of this transmission in this way on this day. We are always given a gift when we are able to interact with all of you. So we thank you for the gift of expansion that you give to us in allowing us to experience through you that many more ways that creation has of expressing itself within the existence that it is. And that's what brings us to today's subject, your indestructible core. Why are you here? All right, well, some of you are here to laugh. But fundamentally, though it may sound a little bit like a puzzle, why you are here is because you exist. Why do you exist? Because you do. Many people on your planet, philosophers, have asked, why? Why do we exist? Why are we here? This is a question created from within the space-time perspective. It is not a relevant question for existence itself, because existence only has one quality: to exist. That's its fundamental state. Because you are an aspect, a reflection of existence, that's your fundamental state as well. And when we say fundamental, we mean fundamental. That's it. Can't get any more basic than the fact that you exist. And when I say you exist, we mean you exist. Meaning your particular unique perspective, your unique point of view Your identity, the things that you experience in life that you believe are happening to you, is what exists. You, your unique perspective exists. Therefore, it is absolutely unable to not exist. The fundamental quality of existence cannot become anything else on an equally fundamental level. As we have often said, it can become any kind of form or expression, but it cannot become non-existence. By definition, non-existence doesn't exist. Therefore, that which exists cannot become that which does not exist, because there's no such thing as non-existence. You can talk about it, you can use the words non-existence and think that you're actually talking about non-existence, but you're not, because even the term non-existence exists within existence. Therefore, the term, the idea, the concept that sometimes your philosophers may bandy about in discussing and thinking about and pondering the concept of non-existence is not really a discussion about non-existence. It's a discussion about a symbol that represents the idea of non-existence, but there can be no discussion. There can be no concept. There can be no conceiving. There can be no perceiving of anything that is actually non-existence, because again, by definition, there is no experience in that idea at all. Even if, just to push the philosophical point, you were capable of experiencing non-existence, you would never know it, because there would be no reflection, nothing to bounce back to you, no awareness that you had experienced it. That's the very fundamental definition of non-existence. There is no existence there for you to have an experience of anything in. Therefore, if you really wrap your minds, wrap your hearts, wrap your souls around the concept that your fundamental state of being is that you exist. You exist. And while you may perceive yourself in many different ways, in many different forms, throughout the course of your existence, physical, non-physical, other dimensional, parallel, what have you, doesn't matter, you will still exist. Your unique perspective will still exist. In other words, anything that happens will be happening from your point of view to you. Even when your philosophers say that there is a point at which you may blend and be absorbed back into the all that is, absorbed into God, you never lose your identity. The only thing that is left in that experience is your identity as all that is. The you-ness can never go away. It is absolutely indestructible. It is the nature and essence of existence itself that forms your indestructible core. You cannot destroy that. It is simply not possible. It is the direct expression of the first law of existence, that you do exist. And that will never change. And again, the emphasis being very important, not even so much the emphasis as, yes, you exist, but that you exist. So if you exist, the unique identity, the unique perspective that you are, you must need to exist. Existence must need you to exist in order for existence to be all that it can be. In order for it to really be all that existence is, you have to exist. So since you already do, that will never change. Therefore, this keys into the concepts that many of you explore in your lives of unworthiness, undeservability. I don't deserve, I'm not worthy. These concepts can only be experienced because you are worthy. Because if you were not really worthy, you would not exist. Because existence hasn't made a mistake in making you. You are part of existence. You are part of existence. You have value. You have worth. You deserve to know that. You deserve to understand that. And when I say know that, I mean know that. Because it is the fundamental truth. The fundamental truth. You exist. Nothing can take that away from you. You exist. Therefore, you are worthy, and you are valuable, and you are deserving. So anytime in your experience of life, when you buy into a belief system that may make that idea of your worth seem to be more true than the fact of your existence, give yourself the opportunity to remember. Give yourself the opportunity to take a moment, because there's only one moment in existence anyway. You might as well take that one. And in that moment, allow yourself to simply sit and be and realize that no matter what you may experience in life that tells you you are not worthy, you are not deserving, you have no value, no matter what you may hear, no matter what you may have been taught to believe is true, just being will confirm the real truth. Because all you have to do is just be and recognize that that's your existent self right there. No matter what anyone says, that's never going to change, even if you may change the way you express it. But you must understand that whatever belief you may buy into is not necessarily the truth. It is simply an apparent truth. More discussion of this idea and a breakdown of this idea will be given at another time. But for now, the idea is, when going through life, anytime you may doubt yourself, anytime you may fear, anytime you may feel unworthy, anytime you may feel less than, anytime you may believe anything else other than that you are absolutely valuable, take that moment that is your moment to take and just remember that you exist. That your fundamental core, your essence, your essential self, your essential point of view, your essential perspective can never be destroyed. It's all right to bring yourself back to zero, back to a clean slate. Anytime you become confused, anytime you feel lost, anytime you have self-doubt, take that moment, bring yourself back to ground zero. Let it be a clean slate and just allow yourself to remind yourself. Allow yourself to remind yourself that yourself is a unique point of view of existence, and that the unique point of view you are cannot vanish, cannot be annihilated, cannot disappear from existence, because you are an essential ingredient in the makeup of the very fundamental state of being itself. That is how valuable you are. That is how worthy you are. That is how deserving you are. So as you go through life, allow yourself to begin to feel that indestructible core more and more viscerally, more and more readily. Let it become a true physical experience for you, because it is real. Existence, obviously, is real, and you are a part of it, and there will never be anything you can do to change that. So, when you argue about your worth, when you have self-doubt, you are attempting to argue with existence about your existence. You can never win that argument. Ever. So please stop arguing. Relax into the understanding that you are an infinite, eternal being. That is your nature. It's your very core, essential nature. No matter what else is going on in the space-time reality game, in the space-time reality play, no matter what apparent truths you think are true, you think you know are true, this is the one thing you can absolutely know for a fact. You exist. Nothing can take that away from you. Nothing. Even existence itself can't take that away from you, or it would annihilate itself, which it can't do because there is no place for existence to go. Because non-existence doesn't exist by definition. That is rock solid. That is your guarantee. That is your absolute right there. You are absolute in your existence, no matter how you may change, no matter how you may see yourself, no matter what kind of an experience you may have. You are absolute as a perspective, as an identity. And anything that happens, anything you experience, you will experience it, and that will never change. Does that make sense? Oh, all right. Then we will thank you for allowing us to deliver that information to you at this time. There will be more on this in times to come. But for now, sit with it, absorb it, feel it, know it, savor it. You exist, and that will never change. You are indestructible. You are indestructible. Anything else that may be, in that sense, malleable, flexible, changeable, apparently destructible, isn't the real, essential, core you. It's just the apparent you, the apparent truth, the game you are playing, the illusion that you have been taught to believe is true. But it's not the truth, which is that you exist. And that's the only fundamental truth you need to hold on to. That's all there is. So we thank you. In return for the gift that you have given to us, I ask you now, in what way may we continue to be of service to you? You may begin your questions, your dialogues, if you wish.